Hi, I'm Rob Malatic, and I'm going to talk to you today about how I practice the saxophone. When I'm out performing, I often get questions about how long do I practice, what do I practice, how do I warm up before I practice. Well, a typical practice session for me will begin with about 20 minutes of a warm-up period. Now, what warming up does for you is it loosens the muscles in your embouchure that you form, the muscles in your mouth right around under your lip and in your cheeks and above your upper lip. It also warms up the reed of the saxophone that has to vibrate to make the noise, and it warms up the temperature of the actual instrument. Now, the temperature of the instrument can affect your pitch when you're performing. So typically you want to have a well warmed up instrument before you perform or before you practice so that your pitch and intonation is just a little bit better. What I practice is probably the best question that I get asked. And I like to tell people that you practice things that you can't play. A lot of people like to practice songs that they're comfortable with, that they have a lot of fun playing, and that's great too. It gives you experience when you play things that you enjoy. It can help to strengthen the muscles in your embouchure, and you get more experience playing, but it really doesn't make you that much of a better player to play things that you can already play. You have to practice things that are difficult for you. What I recommend is to pick a phrase of a song that's giving you trouble and write a little repeat sign on that one phrase with a pencil and just loop that phrase over and over and over again until it just starts to work. And if you do that on a regular basis, you will become a much better player. Now, how long are you supposed to practice? Typically, when you're starting out as a saxophone player, people tell you you should be practicing at least 1 hour a day. That's great to start out, and I think in your first couple of years, I think an hour a day is wonderful. It strengthens all of the things that you need to do, and playing a wind instrument does involve a little bit of muscle building in certain areas because your mouth and your fingers are doing things you're not used to doing. So you have to have that regular reinforcement, just like when you're lifting weights at a gym. You have to have that regular reinforcement in order to really advance and get better. And it does take quite some time. And by that I mean a number of years. It takes years in order to really build a strong embouchure and to get the muscles in your fingers trained so that they will do what they're supposed to do on the saxophone. Now, after you're 2 or 3 years into playing the saxophone, if you decide that you want to get a little more serious about it, you really should add to that hour a day and practice 2 to 3 hours a day maybe for a while and see how much that does for your playing. I think you'll be blown away at how much you improve if you change your practice time from 1 hour a day to 2 hours or 2.5 hours a day. Now, when I was in middle school and high school, I used to practice 4 hours every single day. And that's after school, before I did my homework, before I ate dinner. I would come home and I would go up to my bedroom and put the record player on, or cassettes as I had then. And I would practice playing to a lot of Grover Washington Jr., some Kenny G, David Sanborn. I would practice that stuff until I started taking private lessons. Then I moved on and I started practicing written music from a lot of the well-known classical pieces for saxophone and also some written jazz pieces for saxophone. I got into Charlie Parker, and there's a book called the Charlie Parker Omnibook that is almost the Bible for all jazz saxophone players. If you don't have that book, I would recommend getting it and going through it and learning the Charlie Parker solos that are transcribed in there. It's really hard stuff, and it's a lot of fun to play. So I got into that Omnibook, and I was practicing that every single day. And without fail, I would come home from school and go upstairs and pull out the saxophone and start practicing. And if you do that on a repeated, regular basis, and you do a minimum of 1 hour per day, and then you increase that as you get more serious as a player, I guarantee that you're going to notice an amazing improvement. So here's to having a good practice session. I wish you all the best, and hopefully I'll see you at one of my performances soon. Have a good day.